like coughing at you. Hello, interwebs. It is I, and what is passing for my lungs. And we are going to review some comic books because we weren't here last week. You know, we like to keep you guessing. Are they there? Are they not? You don't know because you ain't watching. Whatever. Hello, internet.
Yeah, shit happens.
Hello. There's a lonely corner of the interweb. All right. XMen Gold was actually everything I wanted it to be. It's the X-Men getting back into being heroes. Doesn't undo anything. You know, everything still happened. Explains why it's such a long, hard road for them to fight to get the world to get,
Is this
trust them
literally
again.
a new gold team, or are they just...
Yeah.
Okay.
They went back to X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue. See, I don't have to explain this to the internet. I don't have to explain it to him. The rest of the world knows this. Everybody knew.
They could have
Everybody
just
knew.
thrown it on there
They
because
didn't.
it's Marvel.
There's been a big deal. Everybody talked about it. Even at the last round table, you big poop.
Yeah, because violently ill at home.
See, that's what happens. See, I told you, big poop. There's also like a history of the X-Men, mostly focusing on characters that are in here, and kind of gives you an idea based on what points they focus on, what's going to be important. Like they mention the New Mutants and specifically mention Illyana and Magma. Illyana because she's BFFs with Kitty. Magma because, spoiler alert, looks like she's the leader of the newest incarnation of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're one of the New Mutants they don't pick to be an Avenger.
Oopsie.
They mentioned Kitty finding Lockheed, so hopefully they won't do anything bad to him, but he'll be something important coming on. They also mentioned Nightcrawler's depression, Nightcrawler's Christianity a couple times, his becoming a priest, and then his depression at having lost his soul when he came back from, because he was dead. He was his soul in heaven, but he came back without it. They mentioned the dead Wolverine, so maybe we could get, I'm good with 2 Wolverines. I could have 3 Wolverines. I'd have Laura.
23.
I'd have
Old Man
I'd have Logan, and I'll take Old Man Logan. I'll take them all. Rack them up. I'd read that book too.
Be a good
And they mention a handful of things. They focus a lot on Rachel, now Prestige Summers. But it was really, really good, and I'm happy. And even though this is the core team, it's still the school, so you've still got characters in the background like Armor and Rockslide, and Kitty was destined to be an X-leader. Who knew? Speaking of all new Wolverine, Laura gets a new costume because, as Gabby puts it, yeah, you can heal, but why would you need to? It's bulletproof. So, why put yourself there? And she's like, the other Wolverine, and she's like, look, Logan was,
stubborn.
a macho dick who, who probably had something to prove. But we don't, so they wear the bulletproof, and they don't have to take, they don't have to regenerate
Very
all the
X-Force-y.
damn time. Aquaman. It's like a like horror movie cover. Aquaman number 20 continues the search into dead water. Who's the new dead water? How do you become a dead water? And it's really, really good. It's like one of those horror movies with like the alien month, like The Thing or Alien. Only imagine it was the group of people being picked off are kind of like three subgroups of people that have come together for a common cause, but really don't like each other anyway. So you've got, here's the monster coming to get us, and which one of you might betray me at any moment. Captain Atom number 4 of 6, The Fall and Rise of Captain Atom number 4 of 6, confused the hell out of me.
Have you not been keeping up?
I thought I was. I vaguely remember the issue before it, and I don't know, that might be Captain Atom? I don't know. Green Arrow, no pipeline. While Rebirth is rebirthing, it's not exactly rebirthing. I'm not going to get my Count Vertigo back. I'm getting a Count Vertigo who falls somewhere between the TV show and the New 52. I guess he can't have everything. Although I wish I could, because his jacket was so much cooler than than this guy who looks like the Riddler and hey, Gamer Boy.
I'm listening.
What are those tadpoles called in the Mon of Pokey?
Poliwhirl.
Yeah, he looks like the Riddler and a Poliwhirl had a baby.
Oh.
But the Green Arrow and Arsenal origin still heavy New 52, but with a underlying pre-New 52 rebirthy kind of undercurrent. Nova number 5. I am loving this book. This is Jeff Loveness and Ramon Perez writing it, and Ramon Perez on art. And oh my God, I'm loving this book. It seemed like this was going to be the end of my my beloved Richard Rider chapter, but it's not. It's just taken another turn. This book is so good. If you like either Nova, you will really, really, really enjoy this. If you're like me and you like both Novas, you will really, really, really love this. Rock Candy Mountain. The Hobo Mafia.
That just makes me happy.
Runs the railways and tries to, extort from other hobos. But our hero, Jackson, has been searching his whole life for Rock Candy Mountain, which he believes is not just a song, but an actual place. So basically, it looks and feels like one of those post-apocalyptic kind of stuff, but it's not. The real world is out there. This is just the private world of warlord-esque hobos riding the rails, and it's so good. Also, it's so good.
If they don't get Hobo with a shotgun in there at some point, I'll be very disappointed.
Superman, a storm is coming. Bum, bum, bum,
A firestorm?
bum, 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 bum. At the moment, I can tell you why. I mean, they have Trinity, but I can tell you why there's no Batman, Superman, Batman comic. They don't need one. Batman has been hanging out in Superman so often, and then there's Super Sons where the two kids cross over and the parents are in the background, so they don't need a book to dedicate to them. Right now, they're chilling. In fact, some could argue that Jonathan has 2 titles. One's just called Superman, because Jonathan Kent is the star of more and more of the issues of Superman, which is fine with me. This particular one focuses on him, but really kind of splits. You've got the Jonathan Damian moments, and the Superman Bruce moments, and then some just Bruce moments, and some just Superman moments, and some just Jonathan moments. No solos for Damian this issue. And Batman doesn't eat pie. This is probably not really a surprise, but a lesson we are taught in this issue. And as a result of one of the big things is, as a result of the joining of the two worlds, when the Superman merged back into one Superman, while they're still in the town of Hamilton, everything from the mailbox to the neighbors, it says Mr. and Mrs. C. Kent. It no longer says the Whites and the Smiths and the other various aliases they've used. Everyone knows them as Mr. and Mrs. Clark and Lois Lane. So the realities have merged. Right now he's his own Flashpoint. He's like Superpoint. It's good.
I think you just gave them an idea.
I Am Bane is the story running through Batman number 20. This is really good. Batman defeats Bane through the clever use of the old joke that I used to say since I was such a wussy little kid, and I would threaten people like, "You want to fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, you want to fight?" I'm like, "I'll tell you how I fight. I'm going to beat your face with my fist so hard, and when I think you had enough, I'm going to pass out. Batman actually utilizes this because the only way to really beat Bane is to let Bane beat Bane. And it's beautiful. And it's narrated by Martha Wayne in Batman's head. So that's kind of cool. And there's some cool moments in there. Extremity number 2. I don't know if I ever reviewed Extremity number 1 because between
What's it about?
the things that I need to do and the things that he needs to do, and we review every other week at this point, or every 3 weeks or something. I don't remember when the first one came out to have been reviewed. Anyway, post-apocalyptic Shattered Earth, tribes, monsters, technology more than magic. It's called Extremity because our heroine she's the daughter of one of the clan chiefs. 2 clans go to war. One daughter is hurt in the face. It's really not anybody's fault. It was a border skirmish, but the mother takes a decent affront and says, people used to come to her because she was so beautiful. That was what made her her. So I'm going to take from your daughter what made her her. So her hand is cut off because this girl was an artist. The dad keeps trying to groom the son to be the next chieftain. He just isn't a killer. He doesn't have it in him. Whereas our artist has found a new vocation, which is being a badass when necessary. She's not like a full-on badass. She's badass when necessary, and then seems so far to be pretty decent and reverting back to normal human in her downtime. We'll see how long that holds up. Really, 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 really good.
Yeah, that definitely came out on an off week.
Champions number 7. Mark Waid's a genius. The Champions have been made to look. Their name has been sullied, as it were, by the what's this team called? They're not the Mercenaries. They are mercenaries, but they're called the Freelancers. They're like the anti-champions, and they really beat so the Champions feel like they get the upper hand. They get them to admit on TV that they did some of the stuff they were blaming the Champions for. Champions walk away feeling like it's a win until it turns out that while the Champions is all about defending everybody, the Freelancers have copyrighted the Champions C, which the Champions are like, you can't do that. We put that out there for everyone. I go, yeah, and you should have thought of copyrighting it because since you didn't, we did, and now all the homeless you've been telling we're a you were the champions of. The homeless and the poor people in these poor areas, we drove them out, and we've now what's being built here is Champions Tower. So now all these people are going to see is that a tower with your name on it is replacing the affordable housing and homeless villages that they used to live in, and you look like the ultimate shits.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's called How to Win. This is 2017. You don't win the fights with the fistity punchity. Speaking of fistity punchity, Captain America stabs with his mighty shit. That's not exactly what happens in the book. You just kind of. But what does happen in the book is, one of these characters, at the end of this issue, is dead. The other character is Steve Rogers.
Still Dick Steve
apparently
Rogers.
I missed an issue of Uncanny Avengers, and apparently they were able to get the telepathic brain out of Professor X's brain is out of
Red Skull.
So now Red Skull can't read Cap's mind, which is why Cap's been avoiding him and dealing through pitting people against each other, because he didn't want to get near someone who could read his mind, because Cap knows now that Red Skull changed his history with the Cosmic Cube, and he knows that this has been done. But because it's been done so effectively, he's not upset by this. This is who he is now. But what Red Skull didn't count on is he tried to tell him, I'm Hydra, you have to listen to me. And Cap's like, no, that's not how it works. Cap even says it here, he's like, I don't represent the rule, I represent the dream. He's handling Hydra just like he handled the U.S. government when the U.S. government would tell him, you need to do things our way, and Cap's like, I can't represent the government, I have to represent the American dream, I have to represent the American people. So he's like, yeah, okay, fine, you twisted it, so now this is my dream, and you've made this my core belief. But since now this is my core belief, I don't think you're good enough for it, and I'm good. So Red Skull literally outsmarted himself because What he didn't realize was Captain America is just as big a fanatic
Either way.
as Red Skull is. It's just up till now he's been a fanatic on the side of liberties, justice, freedom for all.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Now he's a fanatic for Hydra's way, and Hydra's way involves sacrifice. What have you ever sacrificed? He asks him, and then he sacrifices. Mark Waid again. Is the Vision still the Vision in the future? We don't know. The idea of, if you were synthetic and you can live forever, but you keep replacing parts, once none of the original parts are there, are you still you? And Vision's question to his future self of, well, you were still always based on the brain patterns of Simon Williams, right? Right? And the other Vision just his eyes kind of hood over and he's like, So, I'm guessing no would be our answer. But this continues the wonky timeline fighting, because the superheroes, and even I guess to an extent one could say the writers of Marvel Comics, have learned nothing after the past 6 storylines. Major events have been about how, time travel was fucked. Time travel screwed with the X-Men, and that's why the young versions are stuck here. Time travel screwed with everything, and that's why those weird people with the swirly heads were hanging out in the Avengers, destroying multiple worlds and whatever. Time travel and all that crap is what led to Dr. Doom creating the secret. So all that, it's like, time travel and dimension hopping, we shouldn't do it. It fucks with everything. Secret Wars end, and they all immediately start time traveling and dimension hopping. Nightwing and Damian versus Professor Pig and somebody from the past. Somebody from the New 52 past. Maybe he existed before, but I don't really remember the beginning of the New 52. So yes, the return of Dr. Simon Hurt. Really, really good story. Great. Is Tim Seeley writing this? Tim Seeley did some great Nightwing characterization and some great Damian. And I love when writers do as good a job as Seeley did as having, multiple generational Robins get together where you can see their obvious similarities, but they're still so naturally different people. And that's, none of it seemed like I'm making sure I'm writing my Robin to be different from my... No. These characters came in, and Tim Seeley knew exactly who they were and did a great job with them. Black Cloud. Very hard to describe, but very good. This girl has the power to kind of go between dreams, and there's a dream world where she's an old power, but a forgotten power, but there's another power that's an older power that's after her that has the power to, as we see in the beginning, it's like some tribal cave-looking people, and they're painting on the wall, but the one guy paints a picture of a storm cloud and a lightning bolt, and when he touches it, lightning actually comes and zaps like some of the giant creatures that and every time our girl goes back to the dream world, a storm cloud shows up, hence Black Cloud, and hurls lightning at her until she has to get out of there. So really, really good. Not 100%. I can't describe it yet because I'm not 100% certain what it is yet. But it's undefinable in the good way, where you're not supposed to know everything yet, not in the what the hell's happening way. So Captain Kidd, Secret Identities. Why even have them when everyone around you is smarter than you? But this nicely concludes our first story. Hopefully there will be more. I've already ordered the trade. This is Mark Waid and Tom Pyer. This is the opposite of Shazam, the young boy who turns into the full-grown man superhero. This is the 45-year-old overweight guy who uses his magic to turn into an undefeatable 16-year-old boy called Captain Kidd. And I also need to just throw it. So it's Mark Waid and Tom Pyer are writing it. Wilfredo Torres. I love his art. That's really all that needs to be said. Justice League Rebirth. In the old days, you wanted to piss off Superman, you went after Lois. But now you go after Lois and Jonathan, and Superman will take down serious. He'll be like, I was going to talk. I was going to negotiate. I was going to try and do this peacefully. But you brought my wife and son into it. That time's over. Don't make a Kryptonian angry. Don't do. Why you keep going after Superman and Batman's kids when it's like Batman's whole thing is mommy and daddy issues? Now that he's the daddy, there's no way he's going to allow himself. It happened once. They killed his kid once, and what did he do? He went to fucking Apocalypse and brought his kid back. Because there's no way he's going to be the failed daddy. Superman, his whole planet's dead. He never got to know his true family till he had his kooky cousin show up. As a result, don't go for the only family he knows. Don't do that. Motor Girl. We start to understand Motor Girl number 5. Terry Moore. It's Terry Moore, so you already love it. It's kooky, it's quirky, it's human, it's funny, it's serious, it's unreal, it's very real. It's Terry Moore. Hallucinatory gorillas, aliens, crooked businessmen, junkyards, octogenarians with lesbian tendencies. Everything you could expect from Terry Moore is all right here, and so good. Eleanor and the Egret is it's John Layman writing it, Sam Keith doing the art. Eleanor finds an Egret that apparently is real, but also talks to her and seems to have magical abilities, and they're like art thieves, but the Egret likes to eat the art. It is exactly what I wanted when I saw that there was a book called Eleanor and the Egret with art by Sam Keith. That was really all I needed to know. And it's like a heist book meets a almost the max sense of the unreal. And I go to the max. There are a lot of other things I could, but I go to the max because obviously the Sam Keith art. Listed as John Layman, co-creator and writer, Sam Keith, co-creator and artist. It's called Feathers and Felonies. It really just sounds like my school with goose down pillows. But and finally we get to Faith number 10. Faith has accrued a series of enemies who include his name is Chris something. Chris Criswell, who is basically
Seriously?
he's Chris Evans. He doesn't like to talk about the comic book roles. Even though they say he was the perfect captain, but they're all pissed at Faith. So he tries to form them into a supervillain team to take her down. He calls them the Faithless Four. They talk about how do you really want to advertise there's only 4 of them? And they're like, yeah, it's a good. So they just become the Faithless. It's it's an alien parasite living inside a cat. It's Murder Mouse. It's one of the hive aliens in human form, and Chris Criswell all ready to take down Faith. And they're not even going to come up with their own evil plans when they discuss how are we going to do it. Chris points out it sounds more like a list of goals than a detailed plan. He's like, I'm sure if we put our heads together, we could come with a plan that plays to all our strengths. But why should we waste our time when the masters have done the work for us? And he references a comic book collection. They're just they form a 60s Marvel-esque villain team up, and they're just going to use old comics to get their evil plans. It's actually kind of brilliant. And way beyond meta. And
it really is.
That's all I got for the today's. So arrivederci internet, and hopefully I'll see you next week. You never know.
Thanks for watching another video from Gonna Geek. If you like geeky stuff, check out our podcast network, our news and articles, and our community forums. You can find it all at gonnageek.com. Like us at facebook.com/gonnageek. Tweet us at gonnageek. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/gonnageek. And check out our live programming at gonnageek.com/live.